What's up everyone, welcome once again to the channel. It's your boy Luis and today we're going to be talking about Miss Supranational 2024. More precisely about our winner from Indonesia, Harashta Haifa Zahra, who just managed to win the crown and nailed the entire competition. For today's video, I really wanted to take a moment to go through her full performance during finals and share with you guys some of my comments and opinions about what went down during the competition. I was actually there in person and I got the opportunity to interview Tata right after her win for the Queen Beauty Network. So if you want to check it out, link is in the description down below. You already know what to do. Let me know in the comment section how do you feel about her performance, my comments and judgment. And if you like this video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe, and share with a friend, of course. Thank you for being here, and without further ado, let's get right into it.
Sampurasun, Harashta Haifa Zahra, Indonesia.
One thing that I'm going to say about Tata is that I absolutely love her aura, her energy. All throughout the Miss Supranational competition, there were a couple of occasions where I was able to interact with her, talk to her, not only like during the activities and even in the bus while we were traveling to go to from one place to the other, but also I got to interview her right after the talent competition, which by the way, she managed to win as well. I thought she was overall beautiful, kind, very generous, very secure in herself, and I feel like this introduction really represents all of that. There's a certain joy to it that I really love, and I think it's a great way to get the competition started. National costume. To be quite honest about the national costume, I feel like this is a better view than what I had from the venue because during finals I was in the back of the venue doing live commentary for the Queen Beauty Network, and so I didn't get to see this up close. Also, what you saw during finals, it's a pre-recorded segment. The national costume competition took place a day prior, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 days prior. So I didn't get to attend that, so I never saw the national costumes in person. But judging by this video, I mean, you can tell the amount of time that went into the creation of this piece. You can see the attention to detail. Indonesians are, you know, it's a pageant country, so they love pageantry. They really go above and beyond to provide the absolute best for their queens, and I think that Tata absolutely looked the part in this particular segment. Not only she brought, of course, the craftsmanship for the national costume, but equally the storytelling and the performance. Look at her, she's so into it. Those eyes could never lie.
Indonesia.
I believe this is like the global fashion show presentation that they had.
Congratulations.
I was so happy when I saw Miss Indonesia come out during this particular segment with a black look because I just think it looks amazing on her. It contrasts so well with her hair, the makeup, especially the eye makeup that she's wearing, and it's just very regal, you know, although it's a little bit, you know, playful and sexy because she's showing legs, it's very revealing. She is also carrying the sleeves and train that just takes it to a different dimension. I also really enjoyed her look all in black for the opening ceremony during the first couple of days of Miss Supranational. So I was very happy, very pleased to see that she brought black back into her wardrobe for finals as well. So far so good. Let's keep watching. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is what one would assume is a fairly important segment of the show. Of course, this is the swimsuit competition, what Supranational now is calling the confidence round because they don't want to make it so much about the physical aspect of the contestants. I thought that for the time that Tata had on stage, she did an incredible job. What I mean by that is that if you notice, if you look through this footage, you will see that there were two contestants walking on stage simultaneously. So the audience attention as well as the judges' attention and even the airtime when it comes to the cameras was divided by two. There's a little bit of a challenge here that is you kind of need to stand out because precisely you're sharing your time with someone else, but also you are provided these capes that you need to work with during the walk and somehow manage to look good and make it work. I actually really enjoyed her presentation and it stood out in my opinion because she found a way to adapt the movement with the arms. If you see like when she's walking, she's going like this, which gave it just like a different motion from everyone else. There's only so much you can do with this type of sleeves and capes and, you know, trains and all of these situations. So I thought that for what it was and the time that she was given, she nailed it.
Indonesia!
I guess this is the top
Only
10?
2 spots
12.
remain, and one of them belongs to.
Asia is your 20 seconds.
All right.
My passion for performing art pushed me to be confidently woman as I am now. It's not an easy when people assume that my passion is only about imagination. But I came here to get closer to my realization for being a brand ambassador of Miss Supranational. It's my mind mindset, and I hope everyone can think same as me. Dziękuję.
There were so many memes about this part of the competition because precisely the girls were given 20 seconds to make a statement of something that they would like to share. And the reason why they wanted to be the next Miss Supranational or why they deserve to be the next Miss Supranational, I'm going to say 20 seconds is not a lot of time. So there were a lot of memes online of people saying that the girls were rapping almost because they needed to get the idea out in an effective way and at the same time not go over the 20-second time limit. I think that Tata was one of those girls who was a little bit affected by the rapping effect. You know, it was very robotic, one thing after the other, she had to provide it. But I feel like overall, when you hear the substance of the answer, what she had to say, you know, going from a dream to a realization, I think that she did manage to answer effectively what was requested of her. Now, was it the best space or the best timing? Definitely not, but that is something that, in fairness, it's out of her control.
You're my downfall, you're my muse, my world's distraction, my rhythm and blues. Can't stop singing, it's ringing in my head for you.
I will take a moment to talk about her evening gown, which, by the way, I thought it was beautiful. I mean, in fairness, I do think that this was not the... For my liking, this was not the standout of the night in terms of the evening gown, although I do think that it was a very clever option. What I mean by that is that this type of design, this type of, you know, stonework and beading and all of these things are things that we have seen before in pageantry, in different systems. So she is not creating something revolutionary when it comes to the evening gown. But she is bringing something that is very adequate, very appropriate for this particular segment, and most importantly, that makes her look incredible on stage. I do feel up until this point that Tata's biggest asset is herself. That face, those eyes, that smile, the way that she carries herself with so much grace, with so much joy, it's really what makes her unique, right? One thing that I will say though, and this is something that we were talking about with Danny Walker, who was also there that night with me, Tata's gown seemed to be made perfectly to match the Supranational crown. So when I told you earlier that this was a very clever option, this is exactly what I meant. She was there with a strategy, with a plan. She knew that she was not trying to reinvent or revolutionize the designs of evening gowns for pageants. She was trying to look the part of a queen who could wear the Supranational crown. Wow, so inspiring. If that's not aspirational and inspirational, then I don't know what to tell you.
Indonesia.
Okay, so for anyone who was watching the pageant, you know that this was a very important moment for Tata. Obviously, getting called into the top 5 is a huge deal since you move on to the Q&A portion, but also, up until this point in the competition, there were a lot of fan favorites who were not yet called to move on to the next round. So it was unclear up until this point who was going to be the one taking that final spot. I can see some of the fan favorites in the back. We had South Africa, we had Puerto Rico, we had India, and all of those candidates were perfect matches that could have easily advanced into the top 5 as well. So for a lot of people, it was a pleasant surprise when Indonesia was called into the top. I personally think that she deserved a position within the top 5, but also you could feel in the venue there were a lot of people who were also disappointed that their favorites did not move on to the next round. Obviously, South Africa had a lot of support since they had just won a couple of days earlier the Mr. Supranational competition. India always has a huge fan base. Of course, a lot of Latinos there, lots of Boricuas, so Puerto Rico. But at the end of the day, Tata won that fair and square. You can't take that away from her.
All right, getting quite emotional in here. And next up, we have Miss Indonesia. Take a look and then tell us your thoughts.
Woo! Q&A.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I would like to say thank you for little Tata that has encouraged and confidence. Like today, I know your journey was hard. There is a lot of ups and downs. And always remember, let's throw back through your hardworking and always remember what your moms always told to you. Just try new things in your life. If you fails or falls, it's okay. Just stand up and learn from it. So from everyone, for everyone, I hope you always be brave and never doubting your dreams. Zengguya.
Oh, this was such an emotional moment. The Q&A portion was a very heart-wrecking moment, especially if you're there in the venue and you can feel the energy in the room. It was very special. You know, usually pageants go for Q&A. They just give you a question, you answer 30 seconds, and that's it. I liked what they did here with showing the photo and you have to talk to your younger self. It's a very interactive, and again, it gives a layer of emotional value that you don't usually get in most competitions. It's kind of a blend of what they do at Miss Earth with, you know, the final question and the hashtag round when sometimes you get a photo and stuff like that, right? But I really like this approach. That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like Tata's message was very clever because it applies to herself, but it's also something that can be easily applied to any child out there or to anyone who is going through a current situation that they might not feel great right now, and they don't see where they could be in the future. So looking back in retrospective, just telling yourself, you know, I know you're going through a lot. I know it's a struggle. I know it's hard to get through this, but just keep fighting, keep chasing your dreams, and I promise you it will get better. Just think about the people around the world that could benefit from such a message, right? Another thing that I want to give Tata props for is, you know, her English is not perfect. She is not a perfectly bilingual person, but she does know how to evoke a lot of emotion. She does know how to connect with the audience other than just through language, to get her message across, and that's something that it's not very easy to achieve. You could hear even other people here in the top 5 who have like perfect English were not able to deliver the same intensity when it comes to the answer. So I want to give her that. Some people were complaining saying that she doesn't speak English properly and whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Listen, at the end of the day, winning Supranational is not about being a perfect English speaker. Just look at previous title holders. Some of them don't speak English perfectly, but they were still able to deliver a brilliant year, a brilliant reign, and I don't see why Tata would be the exception to that. All right, final 2.
Miss United States and Miss Indonesia. We are about to find out which one of you will become new brand ambassador.
Who is it going to be? I have no idea.
Dowiemy się, kto zostanie nową Miss Supranational 2024. Ladies, the moment of truth has arrived.
Okay, I'll just pause real quick. I know that I don't want to break the suspense, but I mean, we know the results, right? But at the same time, I just want to say, in this particular moment, in the venue, everyone was silent because we didn't know who was going to win the crown. You know, sometimes at the final top 2, you have an idea of who is going to be the one or who had a better performance. I felt at this particular time, both of them were on the same level, you know, to get the crown. I knew for a fact that Tata was very liked by the organization, but I also knew that Miss USA was also very, very liked. She's a standout, like physically, facially, she's a great performer. I mean, like there was absolutely no reason to not crown her, so we didn't know. Lord Jesus.
And Miss Supranational 2024 is...
Why am I nervous? Like, I don't know who it is.
Miss Indonesia.
Oh, chills! I get the chills!
Sejmiku Województwa Małopolskiego.
All right, everyone, let's talk about this. Honestly, by the end of the night, my heart was very, very happy with Tata. As I explained to you all throughout this video, a very, very consistent performance that was definitely deserving of this. I am also very happy for Indonesia as a country because, to be honest, if you look back at previous edition of Miss Supranational, Indonesia is always, at least for the past couple of years, very near the top. Always within the top 10, always within the top 5. So it's one of those countries that has been bringing their A game every single time. Even last year, Mr. Mega, who is the president of Putri Indonesia, also received the award for Best National Director. So it's not only about the quality and caliber of queens that they have been sending, but also about the entire team that is behind the Indonesian queens. In my experience, Tata was always extremely kind, genuine, authentic, very committed, always ready to work, always on time. There's nothing you can tell her wrong, right? So I'm just very happy for her win, and I cannot wait to see what she is going to do with the next year, as well as where her reign is going to take her. In all cases, we are here to support. And now, talking about support, guys, don't forget to hit the like button on this video, subscribe, and be part of the comment section down below because I want to hear your opinions as well. Thank you for spending some time here with me, and I will see you on the next one.